What's going on? This is Big G from G Riders, and welcome to another episode of Testing Rides. Today, I'm going to be testing out the 2017 Volvo V60 Cross Country. Welcome to the 2017 Volvo V60 Cross Country. So, I'm not going to go too much in detail on this vehicle because it's been out for a while now. So, this vehicle has been out for a couple years now, and it has not been the most popular vehicle Volvo's selling. But honestly, in my opinion, I think it should be, and I'm going to tell you kind of why. Alright, so what type of powertrain does this car have? This has so originally you can get the Volvo V60 Cross Countries, and the T5 model came with an inline 5-cylinder making 250 horsepower, but it wasn't the most efficient vehicle around. So in 2017 they decided to bring it up to 2017 standards. So they got rid of the inline 5-cylinder and they replaced it with a inline 4-cylinder making 240 horsepower and 258 foot-pounds of torque, and they added an 8-speed transmission onto that to make it even more efficient. So now this vehicle gets about 22 in the city and 30 out on the highway. Because this is a Volvo and is a very safe car, this vehicle weighs 4,000 pounds, but this is one of the many cars out on the market that has a IHS Top Safety Pick Plus. So that means it's one of the safest vehicles on the road, and it comes standard with all types of, city braking things like that. And Volvo was kind of one of the first ones to kind of add that as standard equipment on their cars. How much is this car? So the one that I'm driving now is kind of the base model, and this one is about $43,000. My honest opinion, $43,000 for the size, it's honestly a little much. I feel like Volvo will sell way more of these if these were like in the $35,000 range. It's starting. Top of line, of course, you can go into the 40s and whatever, but starting, I feel like these would be better off in starting off about $35,000 instead of in the 40s. Because yes, you do get lots of standard equipment, and this vehicle has lots of luxury, it feels pretty quality, it feels really solid on the road. It's just a lot of people aren't into the wagons anymore. $43,000 is kind of a lot. So, in my opinion, and honestly, probably in other people's opinion, this car competes in the subcompact luxury crossover. So, the subcompact luxury crossover is going to be something like the Mercedes GLA 250, vehicles like the Audi Q3, the Infiniti QX30, all those type of vehicles. The Mini Countryman. The Mini Countryman is technically a subcompact luxury crossover. I mean, have you seen how much those things cost? It's a luxury crossover. So, how does that compare to one of those cars? I tested the QX30 pretty recently, and this is very, very comparable to the QX30, but not comparable in price-wise, because this vehicle is way more than that vehicle. Like, this is about $5,000 more, kind of the one that I tested, compared to this is about $5,000 more to the one I tested. And so the one that I tested was pretty much the top of the line model, and it didn't come with as much stuff as this vehicle did, but it came with a similar amount of stuff. So I just really think that Volvo should drop this price down to about the $35,000 range if they really want to sell this and be more competitive in this luxury subcompact crossover market. So, I'm going to pull over to the side of the road, and I'm going to kind of show you guys kind of what the interior is like on this vehicle. Welcome to the inside of the 2017 Volvo V60 Cross Country. So, overall, this Volvo is has a very nice interior. So the quality is pretty nice. It's nice soft touch materials here on the door panels. The dash is really soft. The steering wheel has a nice feel. There's some nice stitching on the inside there. All the buttons and switches that you touch feel pretty good for the most part. And I like how everything in the interior matches. So you have the silver trim on the side here. You have your silver trim around the infotainment system. Then you got some silver trim on the passenger side, around the vents, on both sides, and all down here throughout the center console. This, like, the interior materials are pretty cohesive, and there's not like a whole bunch of different types of materials in this vehicle, which I really like. So let's look at my favorite thing in the vehicle. So this gauge cluster. So this gauge cluster is fully configurable, and it looks very beautiful. So you could change it from 3 different modes, from eco, elegant, and in each setting you get a different type of look. So on the elegant, you just get your temperature gauge and your tachometer on the right hand side there. On eco, you get your tachometer and how eco-friendly you're being, like so it gives you basically your instant fuel economy. And a performance mode, which is my favorite mode, it gives you how much power, how much of the engine's power you're using at the time. It gives you your temperature gauge, and your tachometer's right dead in the center. Then you got your miles per hour there, which I really like quite a bit. So what's really nice, so if I hit the cruise control button, as you can see here on the right hand side, it has like a little gauge of what your cruise control speed is. I think that looks really good and is a really nice touch for the vehicle. Over here in the center stack, this is definitely old Volvo because the screen is kind of small. It has all these cumbersome buttons, and honestly, these buttons don't do a whole lot. I mean, they used to be where you can type in numbers from your phone and all that stuff, but I don't think that's necessary anymore. There's a couple buttons that you got to kind of search for, sometimes when I'm looking for the navigation button, you have to search for a little bit. You got your radio, your media, your CD eject, you got your telephone button. My phone is connected, so I can enter a number in. You got the My Car, that's where all your settings basically are for the car. You can do everything from, adjust if you want to use your power folding mirrors on the vehicle, or resetting the tire pressure sensor, which is pretty nice. So, and then you have your climate controls right here, which is pretty nice. It's pretty easy to use. So down here, it has a button where you can drop the rear headrest. So one of the rear headrest stuff, as you can see in the rearview mirror there, hopefully. I just hit this button here, and it drops, which is pretty nice. And then also you have a button there for your parking sensors, and then your downhill descent control system. This is a lifted all-wheel drive, 8 inches of ground clearance Volvo wagon. You get all the fun off-roading stuff you have at your disposal. So let's come to these seats. So this car has the light interior, which looks really nice, but as I'll show you in the back, there's a big problem because, as you know, white interiors get dirty pretty fast. But the quality of these seats is amazing. Like, this definitely is real leather. These seats are very comfortable. They have really good support, and if you sit in for a long time on a road trip or something like that, you would not come out of this feeling tired or feeling uncomfortable or back out or anything. The Volvo, and honestly, it's just not that big for this market this vehicle's trying to go into. Like this, I pulled the seat up a little bit, kind of to where a normal person will sit, so I won't be able to fit back there, and I'm a big guy, so I mean, I know most people aren't as big as I am, but still, that's not a whole lot of backseat space for considering how much this vehicle costs and what this vehicle is supposed to do. And as you can see, if you look at these black marks on the back seat here, there's dirt on the seat. I don't know where it came from because I haven't been in the back seat since I've had the vehicle, and I haven't really had a whole bunch of people in the back seat since I've had the vehicle, but it's ridiculously dirty and it's crazy. So here we are in the trunk space of the Volvo V60, and it's a decent amount of space. It's like probably about as much as you would get in sedan, but in a wagon form. You can fit about 2 big luggages back here, 2 full-size luggages back here, which is about average for this size of vehicle, but it definitely is adequate, but it's not the best size I've seen back here for vehicles in this class. I mean, that's one of the vehicles, you still get a full-size spare underneath there, but there's not a whole lot of extra storage space besides, the space that you got back here. I mean, I tested the Durango last week. I know the Durango is more of a family SUV, but I kind of expect to see like some type of storage underneath the rear underneath the rear shelf here. But you know, but that's just how I feel about it. And again, this is one of the older Volvo products, so this is an older Volvo platform, so I'm sure the newer Volvo stuff is a lot better than this. All right, let's get back out on the road and see how this thing drives. All right, so how did this Volvo drive? Well, this Volvo drives freaking fantastic. This is probably one of the better driving luxury subcompact crossovers that I've driven, even though this was technically a wagon. But this is a luxury subcompact crossover. It's a luxury subcompact crossover, and that's kind of the market Volvo needs to take advantage of a little bit more on this vehicle. So, the Cross Country. How's a Cross Country different? The Cross Country is basically a wagon that Volvo lifted up. So, this Volvo has a different suspension setup than the regular Volvo V60, and it has about 8 inches of ground clearance or so. This vehicle is made to, you know, drive around in the city, go to work all week long, but on the weekends go out on the gravel trails, go out fishing, biking, kayaking, all that. So this is like a luxury Subaru, if that makes any sense. All right, so how does this car drive? Well, this car drives freaking fantastic. This is probably one of the better driving luxury subcompact crossovers that I've driven recently. So here I am going through these corners. Even though it has 8 inch of ground clearance, it handles these corners nicely. I mean, Volvos aren't really known for that, and this is just something that they've kind of recently done over the past couple years. Like, there's body roll, but it's not ridiculous, and then when you put your foot down, this thing picks up pretty quickly. With the 258 foot-pounds of torque, this thing feels decently quick. It weighs 4,000 pounds, but giving a car a lot of torque will make it feel a lot less lighter, and it's kind of a trick that the Germans have been doing for quite a long time now, with their more integration of turbocharged engines. It doesn't weigh that much more than that Infiniti QX30 I tested a couple months ago. It probably weighs about 200 pounds more. Yes, 200 pounds more, but I'm pretty sure this vehicle gets better fuel economy, and it's a lot safer of a vehicle. And it's actually probably a little bit bigger too. So on the road manners of this vehicle it's very luxurious. So I'm gonna pause for a second. You hear anything? Because I don't. This car is very, very quiet on the road. I mean, I'm cruising along here at about 50 miles an hour or so, and I don't hear hardly any wind noise or anything like that. Mostly all I hear is tire noise. And Volvo did a great job putting all that sound deadening material in this car to make it a comfortable, quiet vehicle on the road. Like, in this vehicle, you can have a quiet conversation with the person next to you, even person in the back seat, and they can hear you pretty clearly. And I did go over some gravel roads on this vehicle, and over the gravel roads, it's still just as smooth, just as quiet, just as comfortable as you are on regular paved roads. It's pretty impressive. And as I said before, this Volvo is on the older Volvo platform, so I cannot wait to see what the next generation Volvo platform is like, if this one is this quiet, this comfortable, this compliant, and this much fun to drive. It doesn't have a mass amount of blind spots. Like, you can see out of all the mirrors pretty decently. Out the windshield, it's a pretty good field of vision. Only thing that kind of gets in my way is this rear view mirror. It's a little bit in my blind spot. This rear view mirror is kind of a blind spot, but since I'm so tall, it's kind of a problem with a lot of cars with me. So it's negligible really for me. So when I turn my head around to look to look at my blind spot to get over, it's not too bad. It's, you know, I've definitely seen vehicles with better rear visibility, but it's not too bad at all. And the steering response is pretty decent for a car like this. And I'm saying a car like this because this is a SUV crossover, and it has the steering similar to like the sedan, so this car doesn't feel as big on the road, or as big or as tall on the roads as most SUVs kind of in this platform. Like, the Infiniti handled really nice, which is, you know, basically a Mercedes GLA. That vehicle handled really nice, but in the corners, you definitely felt that the vehicle was lifted a little too high. So there is sometimes some body roll there. And here I am going through these corners, and not too much body roll at all. It just hugs, it just hugs and goes around the corner with ease. So in summary, I like this Volvo quite a bit. Honestly, I don't even care how much this car weighs, 4,000 pounds. This is one of the safest vehicles out on the road, and it doesn't feel like it weighs as much as it does. Like, it feels like it's about in the 35,000 pound range, honestly. So, a couple things I like about it. It's comfortable, it's quiet, it's decently quick. I like the way it looks, and I do like the ground clearance of this particular model. A couple things I don't like. Infotainment seems a bit dated, and I feel like the price for what you're getting in this vehicle is honestly just a little high. I feel like it should be a little bit less. I'm not devaluing the Volvo brand or anything like that, but this car is just a little bit higher than what it should be, honestly. But if you are looking for a comfortable, good looking, different, safe, quality, luxury subcompact crossover, I would 100%, actually I'll say I would 200% recommend looking at the Volvo V60 Cross Country. So if you liked the video, hit me with the thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and keep riding with me. Thanks for watching.